Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Dennis Brown, and I want to thank you for joining me for this week's Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. It's noon on Monday, and every Monday at noon, I do one of these free trainings. And today, I'm going to share with you 17 very important questions that you ask before joining a freight agent program. Okay. So we're going to do that training, but here's the agenda. First, we're going to start out with a quick giveaway. I hope you guys are excited about the giveaway. If you are, hit me up in the comments. Secondly, we're going to do the training where we're going to talk about those 17 questions, the things you need to ask in order to vet and make sure you pick the right freight broker to partner with as a freight agent. And then last but not least, at the end, we will do Q&A, right? So if you stick around to the end, we'll do Q&A. Plus, I actually put together a cheat sheet, which is basically a summary of those 17 questions that I'm going to go over today. But you got to stick around to the end in order to get the link. You'll be able to download it and then print it out or keep it on your computer, whatever you want to do there. But I did put together a cheat sheet for you, which is a full list of all of those questions, but you'll have to stick around to the end. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. Truly appreciate you being here. We're going to do a quick giveaway in a minute. Let's let a few more people get live. But before we get going, first, I want to say thank you for joining me live, whether you're catching me live or on replay. If you're my replay folks, hit me up in the comments with hashtag replay. I'd love to hear from you. I know sometimes you can't tune in live during the middle of the day. Maybe you're growing your business. Maybe you're working. Maybe you're driving your truck. Maybe you just tied up with the kids or with errands or other things you're doing, prospecting for your business. But I do appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted. And I'm humbled every time I come in here and see people that are interested in hearing me speak. So this is the Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Today, we are going to be going over the 17 questions, 17 very important questions that you need to ask before joining a freight agent program. So this training will really apply to two groups. If you are looking to become a freight agent, you definitely want to tune in. But if you are a freight agent considering hiring, or if you're a freight broker considering hiring agents, okay, then you're definitely going to want to tune into this as well, because you need to understand the questions that might be asked in order to build the right type of program, okay? So we're going to start the training at noon. We're going to do the live giveaway now, okay? So I'm going to do a giveaway, then the training, then Q&A, okay? So I hope that makes sense. All right, so we got a bunch of people joining us. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so we're going to do a quick giveaway, and we're going to give away, well, let's see, what do I got? What do I got here? All right, we've got somewhere here. Hold on a minute. Give me a sec. All right, so we'll give away a Freightpreneur t-shirt, okay? We'll give away another Freightpreneur t-shirt. It says, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand, okay? So we're going to give away one of these Freightpreneur t-shirts. Here's all you got to do to qualify for the giveaway. What I want you to do, if you are if you have a smartphone, okay? All right, if you have a smartphone, which most everybody has, I want you to go to your podcast app. If you're on Apple, hit the Apple Podcast app, okay? And search for Freight Broker Bootcamp in the podcast app. If you're not on Apple and you listen on Spotify or another podcast app, use that podcast app and search for Freight Broker Bootcamp. Wherever you listen to your podcast, search for Freight Broker Bootcamp, okay? And then once you get into the podcast and you find Freight Broker Bootcamp, here's all I want you to do. Here's the logo for Freight Broker Bootcamp on the Apple podcast. This is what it looks like. You'll see my bald, shiny head as usual, and you'll see Freight Broker Bootcamp. All I want you to do is subscribe, rate, and review. If you subscribe to the podcast and then rate and review, and you tell me, Dennis, I subscribed, rated, and reviewed on Apple. Dennis, I subscribed, rated, and review on Spotify or on Google Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. What I want you to do is first do that. That's step number one. Subscribe, rate, and review. And then come back in to the comments and let me know that you subscribed, rated, and reviewed on whatever device, on Apple, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, wherever, okay? But you got to let me know that in the comments, okay? That's what qualifies you, because I'm going to pick one winner who does this. If you follow my instructions, I'm going to pick one winner, and you're going to be the winner of the highly coveted Freightpreneur t-shirt. someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. Okay. I'm going to mail that out to you absolutely free. Again, this is US only because I don't ship these shirts overseas. It's US only because I actually have to ship it. Okay. But maybe we'll have another giveaway for something else afterwards if we have time. So subscribe to the podcast, Freight Broker Bootcamp, wherever you listen to your podcast, and then rate and review, and come back in and hit me up in the comments and let me know subscribed, rated, and reviewed. And then that'll be great. And then I'll pick a winner. Okay. I'm super excited because the podcast has went over extremely well. I just regret that I didn't launch the podcast 2 or 3 years ago. I should have done that. The audio only format has been very well received. We've been ranked by Apple Podcasts in the top 100 entrepreneur podcasts in the world. Okay. So we're really excited about that. We've got hundreds and hundreds of positive reviews. We've got thousands and thousands of subscribers that tune in every single week. And we're so happy that you're here and that you guys are enjoying it. The podcasts are awesome because, maybe you're working out, maybe you're driving, maybe you're walking the dogs, and, video just doesn't work in those formats really well, but you can do the audio version of a lot of my trainings. These are the best of the best trainings that I've ever done. And then the best of the best trainings I'm ever going to do, just like one of the trainings today. Okay. So make sure you follow that, come back into the comments, just like the other people are doing right now, and let me know that you subscribed, rated, and reviewed and where you did that. Okay. And then I'm going to pick one winner, and then maybe we'll have time for another giveaway. If not, then we're going to start the training. Okay. All right. So we got a bunch of people that are subscribing. That's awesome. We'll give another minute for this contest. You got 1 more minute to open up your cell phone, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and subscribe, rate, and review. Come back into the comments. Let me know that you did it and where you did it. And I'm going to pick one winner, and then we'll get the ball rolling. Okay. Okay. So we've got Rashawn, we got Deshun, Papa Bear in a Chair, Heather Hubbard, Ad Astra. We got E. Velazquez. We got a bunch of people that have done it. So that's awesome. All right. So and then we got Ozan Atkus. All right. So here we go, guys. We're going to do the first giveaway. This is for the Freightpreneur t-shirt. Okay. So my very non-scientific way of doing this, all I've got to do is close my eyes, scroll through the comments, randomly land on one person, and that will be the winner. The winner is of the t-shirt, Rashawn Wilkinson. Rashawn Wilkinson did it perfect. He said, I subscribed, rated, and reviewed on Apple. Congratulations. You're the winner of the Freightpreneur t-shirt. Now, pay attention. Here's all you got to do in order to collect your prize. You need to go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, because I think you're watching this through YouTube. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, like the page, and then message me with your full name, your mailing address, and your size. Send me all of those things and let me know that you won the podcast subscribe t-shirt giveaway. Okay. Let me know that you won the podcast subscribe t-shirt giveaway, and we're going to send you off a t-shirt. You'll get it within a week or two. And that's it. So you're the winner of the Freightpreneur t-shirt. Awesome. Thank you. And thank everybody for playing along. Truly appreciate it. Okay, good. So let's see. What time do we got here? We got time for another giveaway. Let's do a quick giveaway. All right. We'll do another quick giveaway. Let me see. Okay. Here's all you got to do, guys. If you want a chance to win $50 cash. Okay. If you want a chance, I don't have any cash on me, but if you want a chance to win $50 cash, listen very carefully. All you have to do is go to my Freight Broker Bootcamp YouTube channel. The link is on the screen, youtube.com/Freight Brokers. Go to the channel, subscribe. You got to hit the subscribe button, and then click the bell for all notifications. If you click the bell for all notifications, you'll get notified every time I do a live, every time a new training video launches. and I release those every single week. There's over 100 free freight broker training videos on that channel alone. So you should already be subscribed anyway. Subscribe and then come back into the comments and let me know that you subscribed on YouTube. Okay. Subscribed on YouTube. Come back into the comments. Let me know that you subscribed on YouTube, and I'm going to pick one winner randomly to win $50 live right now. Okay. So go to that URL. If you can't get to that URL, just search for Freight Broker Bootcamp. You'll see the channel again with my bald, shiny head. Go to the channel, make sure you're on the right channel, subscribe, and then hit the bell to let me know that you got notified. So subscribed on YouTube and I clicked the bell, all notifications. Okay. Let me know that in the comments, and I'm going to pick one random winner. And you're going to win $50 cash, right? I'm sure that could help maybe partially fill up your gas tank, or maybe buy some Starbucks before you head to work in the morning, or maybe, who knows, what you guys are going to use it for. Pick up some groceries, buy your spouse a nice little gift, go out and grab lunch, whatever the case may be. The $50 is yours. What I will do is I will PayPal you that money within 24 to 48 hours. We're going to pick one winner in just a minute. Okay. So get subscribed and you're going to get a chance to win $50. You're crazy if you don't get subscribed. It's $50 cash, right? For free. Literally, it's going to take you 60 seconds to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. Okay. All right. All right, cool. So we got a bunch of people getting subscribed. Awesome. All right. We'll give it another 30 seconds for you guys to get subscribed, and then come back in here and let me know in the comments. And then we are going to pick a winner for the $50 giveaway. Okay. Ad Astra, we have not given away the $50 yet. So you still got time, but you didn't win the free t-shirt giveaway. So you've got to, if you got disconnected, you got to go to the YouTube channel. You got to subscribe and then hit the bell to make sure you get notifications, all the notifications. Okay. The notifications bell. So that's what you got to do. All right. What time do we got here? All right. So we don't have much time. All right. I'm going to pick a winner. Here we go, guys. I'm going to scroll down through randomly, close my eyes, have all the comments. And the winner is Jean Richard Blenheim. Jean Richard. Sorry if I'm murdering your name. I apologize. He subscribed on YouTube and hit the bell to get notified. Congratulations. Here's all you got to do to collect your $50. Thank you for everybody that played along. I thank you so much. I usually give away cash and shirts, but here's what you got to do to collect your prize. Go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Okay. Like the page and then message me your PayPal email and that you won the $50 YouTube subscribe contest. And I will send you that $50 cash via PayPal. That's all you got to do. So go to the Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, like the page, then message me with your PayPal email and let me know that you won the YouTube subscribe contest. And I'm going to send you off that $50. You'll get it in the next 24 to 48 hours. Thank you everybody for playing along. And now we are to the important part of this, the important segment of this live here, which is we're going to be doing the live training. And we're going to start in about 2 minutes. We're going to let everybody else get live, because for those of you that join early, it's because you're playing along and you want maybe to win a prize. But we start the trainings at noon Eastern time, and we try to start on time within a minute or two after doing a couple of shout outs. For now, do me a huge favor. Let me know the city and state that you're logging in from. Hit me up in the comments with the city and state you're logging in from. I'll try to give you some shout outs before we start the training. And again, the training today is we're going to talk about 17 very important questions that you need to ask before joining a freight agent program. Okay. These are very important questions. You need to understand how to vet the right partner, the right freight broker for you. Okay. So I put together a very exhaustive list of 17 questions. Actually, it goes over into the other page. And that's what I'm going to share with you today once we start the training. So let's do some shout outs really quick. We've got Ariel. We've got Deshaun from Eugene, Oregon. We got Jerry Tolliver from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Ola Moore from Pineland, Texas. We got Rashawn from Kennesaw, Georgia. We got Tammy Jones from Huntsville, Alabama. We've got Valerie Shaw from Austin, Texas. We got Lenora from Orange Park, Florida. We got people from all over the country here. We got Paulette from Greensboro, North Carolina. Who else we got? Just so you guys know, I'm in the Buffalo, New York area, born and raised, lifelong resident here in the Buffalo, New York area. Unfortunately, probably no hopes of leaving. I'm married to Western New York through my beautiful wife and family, but congratulations for everybody that joining me today. Let's see, Freedom Life Embassy, Irvington, New Jersey. Nardell Benitez from Arcadia, Wisconsin. Samir Ajaz from Islamabad, Pakistan. So we got another country in the house, which is not unusual. Janessa from Long Island, New York. Trevor from Los Angeles, California. Tiger Lily 77 from New York, New York. Let's see. All right, cool. Awesome. All right, so we've done some shout outs. Here's the agenda, guys. We're going to do the live training. Then we're going to do live Q&A if you stick around to the end. The good news is I actually created a cheat sheet for today's training. So if you stick around to the end of the training, I'm going to give you a link. I'm going to give you a URL where you can download the cheat sheet with all 17 questions. But you got to stick around to the end in order to get that link, okay? So we're going to start the training in about 1 minute. Bear with me for 1 minute. I'm going to grab a quick drink. You guys get ready, shut down all your distractions, close your office door, stop the notifications on your cell phone, turn off whatever you're doing, and give me the next 45 to 60 minutes to try to help you to build and start and grow a successful freight broker or freight agent business. Okay? All right. Congratulations. Welcome, Cynthia. Welcome, Alana. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Truly appreciate it. All right, so we're going to get the ball rolling. Let me grab a quick drink, and then we're going to start the training. Okay. Let's shut this banner off, or let's shut this comment off, I should say, before we start the training. Okay. Okay, so very quickly here, let's make sure we got my notes. All right, I'm ready to go. So today, I'm going to share with you 17 very important questions that you need to ask before joining a freight agent program. Okay, so most of you already know that if you're looking to join the industry, you're either looking to become a freight broker or a freight agent. Okay, but those are different, right? A freight broker is someone who's licensed by the FMCSA to broker loads and broker freight. A freight agent is someone that works under a licensed freight broker in a partnership and a rev share type relationship. So as a freight agent, starting as a freight agent was one of the best ways to get your feet wet and get started in this business. My average agent, the year I sold the business, did over $107,000 in commissions working from home. I had top agents that earned over $100,000 in a single month. Okay. Now, I'm not here to promise you anything, but I want you to understand the opportunity is strong. Even if you don't qualify or aren't comfortable becoming a freight broker, starting as a freight agent is a great way to start. So that's why I put this training together, because I want you to understand it's important when you are looking for a freight broker that you vet them properly. You ask them questions, you do the proper due diligence to ensure that you make an educated and informed decision for you and your business. Okay. So I'm going to share with you, kind of in a rapid fire format here, 17 questions to help you do the proper due diligence to make sure that you understand who you're partnering with so you can select the right freight broker partner for you. Okay. So here we go, guys. Number one, how long have you been a freight broker? This goes without saying. If someone just got their freight broker authority 30 days ago versus someone that just got their freight broker authority 3 or 5 or 10 years ago, there's probably going to be a big difference in the type of experience they have, the type of support they have, the type of product they have, the type of credit they have. A lot of things are going to get better with time as opposed to a true startup. Now, that doesn't mean you can't work with a startup, but I want you to go into this with your eyes wide open. So that's question number one. Question number two, what was your gross revenue in 2021 or last year, whenever you're listening to this? Okay. What was your gross revenue? This is also going to help to draw a picture for you as to the experience level that they have, not only in getting customers and serving customers and supporting customers and working with carriers, but also the financial resources and the financial management that they have in place. So that's number two. Number three, when did you hire your first freight agent? So this is kind of a telling question because there are going to be some brokers out there that have never hired an agent. You may be their first. There may be other brokers out there that have hundreds of agents. That may be equally as good or equally as bad, depending upon your personal circumstances or where you think you fit best. Okay. So understanding when they hired their first freight agent. Number four, how many active freight agents do you have today? What I mean by active is not how many agents are you talking to, not how many agents have you hired, but how many active freight agents do you have that you're in contract right now with that you're supporting? That again is going to be a telling number, right? If they're supporting 3 agents or 300 agents, it takes a very different type of company and a very different type of support and a very different type of commitment in order to support 300 versus 3. So again, these are just designed to help you understand and do the proper due diligence as you are vetting the right freight broker for you. Okay. Number 5, what is your broker credit rating on the DAT and on Truck Stop? Now, as you may or may not know, a broker's credit is very important because it is going to help determine whether a carrier or a factoring company is going to accept your loads, right? If they're going to be willing to move your load. So if they have really bad credit or no credit, sometimes it can be a struggle. If they have very good credit, then it's just going to make your job that much easier and that much more profitable. Okay. Number 6, can you please explain to me your agent commission plan? All right. Talk to me a little bit about your agent commission plan. What percentage do you get paid? When do I get paid? How do I get paid? Those sorts of things. Please explain to me your agent commission plan. Okay. That's number 6. Number 7, how much does your top freight agent earn in commission per month or per year? However you want to frame that. Explain to me the biggest success story that you've been able to help create as a freight agent. Again, if somebody is not making, at least 10,000 or more a month as a freight agent, that tells you that they're very new, that they're just getting started. If they've got agents that are making hundreds of thousands a year or hundreds of thousands a month, that obviously tells you that the machine is working. So it helps you to vet the right broker. Okay. All right. So number 8, what freight broker software do you provide to freight agents? What type of software? What type of a TMS do you have? What type of load boards do you have? What type of support software do you have? What software do you provide agents to help them start and grow and build a successful business? Okay. All right. So that was number 8. But remember, stick around to the end of this training, and I'm going to give you a cheat sheet where you can actually download all 17 of these questions. So you don't have to write all these down right now, but I'm going to give you a link where you can download it, but you got to stick around to the end. Okay. All right. Number 9, do you offer electronic load tracking? Do you have the ability to track loads digitally? Or am I going to have to call on every carrier? Am I going to have to, search down and do all these check calls? Or are we able to ping these loads digitally through using technology and different services out there to track where the driver is? Okay. So that's number 9. Number 10, what fees are freight agents responsible for? This is an important one, right? What fees are freight agents responsible for? Are you going to charge me for the TMS software? Are you going to charge me for the load boards? Are you going to charge me for your support software? Are you going to charge me a processing fee for every commission check I get? What fees are freight agents responsible for? All right. All right. So that's number 10. Number 11, how and when do freight agents get paid on their loads? This is an important one. If I delivered a load today, and when will I get paid on that load? Is it after it's been invoiced? Is it after it's been delivered? Is it after it's been collected as an invoice? Those are very different things because, again, from the time you move a load to the time you get the shipper pays that load, it literally could be a month or two or more. And so that could really change your cash flow. So knowing when you're going to get paid on a delivered load is very important question to ask. Okay. All right. So let's see. How and when get paid. All right. Number 12. What is the chargeback policy if a shipper does not pay an invoice? So what a chargeback is if a shipper does not pay an invoice, what is the chargeback policy to the agent? This is assuming that the broker is advancing you commissions before the shipper pays the invoice. Please explain to me what your chargeback policy is. It'll be important for you to understand that because every broker is going to have some sort of a chargeback policy. If they advance you the money, it's only fair that they actually get that money back if they're not paid by the shipper itself. Okay. All right. So number 13, what type of insurance do you have, including general liability, contingent cargo, errors and omissions, receivables insurance? What type of insurance do you have as a broker to help support your agents? Okay. So that's number 13. Number 14, do you factor your invoices or do you process them internally with your own financial management tools and credit lines? Do you factor invoices? There is a difference, right? Factoring companies can provide an unlimited supply of capital to the right shippers and to the right brokers. Most brokers, if they're financing themselves, can struggle with cash flow because they're relying, as a new startup particularly, they're relying on the cash flow of those shippers coming in order to pay the carriers. And that can make for a sticky situation. So it's very important that you understand if they're factoring their invoices and if they're not, what type of resources and financial management system they have. Okay. All right. So that's number 14. Number 15, can you share with me the onboarding process for new freight agents? For every new freight agent that comes on board with your company, can you please explain to me the onboarding process? What could I expect as a new agent from an onboarding process? That's number 15. Number 16, can you share with me the onboarding process of a new shipper? Whenever an agent brings on a new shipper, what is that onboarding process, including the turnaround time? Very important. If it takes you 3 or 5 or 10 days to turn around a new customer, that's probably not going to work. But if you can turn it around in an hour or a day, that's probably something that's manageable. But you just need to know going in so that you set good expectations on both sides. And number 17, the last question is, what is the approval process for new motor carriers, including the turnaround time? What is the process to get a new carrier set up in the system, validated, vetted, and approved so that I can put them on a load and move freight for my customers? Okay. So those are the 17 questions. Now, if you guys want to download the cheat sheet, right, that I put together, here's all you got to do. Go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions. The URL is on the screen right now. Again, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions. This is going to give you a free cheat sheet which is going to list all 17 of those questions, which is going to save you a ton of time not having to write them down. That's why I was able to go through them very quickly. Again, the importance of these questions, I can't stress enough, because as a new agent, you are going to be, it's very important that you ask good questions to make sure that you make an informed and educated decision as to who you choose to partner with, who you choose to work with as a freight broker. And I can tell you that not all freight brokers are created equal, and you need to find the one that's right for you. But please don't get intimidated. Don't get overwhelmed. Asking these questions is going to not only save you a lot of time and money and aggravation, it's also going to make sure that, again, you select the right freight broker for you. So make sure you download that free cheat sheet at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions. If you are curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent and you need some help, you're trying to piece everything together online through Google and YouTube, but it's just not all coming together, go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Check it out. We've trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee Again, I can't make it much easier than that. I've done over $200 million myself as a freight broker. I've had tons of students that have went on to build 6 and 7 figure businesses. So check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. All right, guys. So thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I strongly suggest that you get the cheat sheet. Okay. Because I went through those very quick, and I went through them very quick for that reason. Number one, you're going to have that resource, but I think it's important that you understand the why behind this resource. I put this training together because I get a lot of questions from new students in particular that are asking me, one, should they start as a freight broker or a freight agent? And then we have to go through that process. And then once they determine they want to start as a freight agent, they're just not sure where to go or who to talk to. Okay. So I think this cheat sheet will be extremely helpful. If you guys are looking for, let's see, if you're looking for to either hire or get hired as a freight agent, last year I put together the only freight broker and freight agent job board specific to freight brokers and freight agents. You can go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/jobs. There are brokers that are posting job ads there for free, and you can apply to those jobs. Some require experience, some don't require experience. Check out those postings. If you are a freight broker that's looking to hire, you can place a job ad for free. If you're an agent that's looking to get hired, you can go there and apply for free. Okay. So it's a free resource. Okay. So you can definitely check that out as well. I would strongly suggest you check that out. And again, if you're looking for that cheat sheet of the 17 questions, it's freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions. Okay, cool. All right. So let me grab a quick drink. That was kind of short, which is good. But we are still going to do Q&A. All right. We're still going to do Q&A. So let's see. Why don't we dive right in? If you guys have questions, about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, if you have questions about freight broker sales and how to get customers, you have questions about rating or questions about finding carriers, any questions that you have, type them in the comments, but please be specific. Okay. Don't say something like, what do I say to a shipper? Too generic. Okay. Way too generic. Be more specific. Okay. I want you to, the more specific you are about your question, the easier it is for me to, number one, pick it, and number two, want to answer it. Okay. So write down questions that you have in the comments. We're going to go through some live Q&A. And then we'll go from there. Okay. So Rachel has a question. Rachel's question is, what is a good base margin split to start agents with? Okay. So what is a good commission plan for freight brokers to offer freight agents? I'm pretty sure that's what you're asking. Okay. So most freight agent programs range from 50 to 70% of the gross profit. So let me explain to you what that means. If you charge a shipper $1,000 and you pay a carrier $800, which would leave $200 in gross margin, okay? Brokers typically pay somewhere between 50 and 70% of that $200 in margin. So if you're getting 50% of 200, that's $100 commission for the agent. If you're getting 70% of that margin, you're getting $140 for that load. What determines the 50, 60, or 70% is typically the experience level you have as an agent, the book of business that you may have, the volume, the revenue you have, the profit margin percentage can also determine that. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. But in most cases, new freight agents are going to start out at a base of about 50% of the profit. Again, after basic expenses, including if you're factoring the invoices. Okay. So you can take the factoring costs out as well. And then, As they gain more experience and they build their book and they do more volume and they have good profit margins, then it would probably go up to 55 or 60 or 65 or even 70. Okay. I had agents that were getting paid 70% at one point, but they had multi-million dollar books of business. They had $5-10 million books of business and they had really strong margins, right? They were doing 15-20% margins. So it left a lot of meat on the bone for both of us, both sides of the equation, to make money. So I hope that helps. And that's a good question, Rachel. Thanks for asking. Okay. So Rashawn asks, as a new broker starting on day one, what is the first thing you need to do to get your first customer? The first thing you need to do after you've already set up your brokerage is you need to choose your niche. Okay. You need to pick a niche, whether that be produce or whether that be steel or whether that be any of the different niches that you can pick. Once you've identified your niche, then you want to make a list of prospective companies that are in that niche. So if you're in the produce niche, you're going to make a list of produce buyers, produce brokers, produce growers, produce retailers, right? People that all buy and sell and grow and are in the produce industry. So you'd make a list of those companies, and then you would start doing some sort of outreach. In most cases, that outreach is going to come in one of maybe 4 different formats. You're going to do it face-to-face if they're local, or you have the ability to do that. You're going to do it over the phone if you're comfortable cold calling. You're going to do it through email and or LinkedIn. So social selling through LinkedIn, cold emailing through email, cold calling through the phone, and face-to-face if you have that opportunity. So those are the 4 primary formats that you're going to use to do outreach and start a dialogue with your prospects. Okay. Now, what are you going to say? How are you going to say it? I'm glad you asked, because I'm about to release and launch my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. Okay. Now, my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program is where I take that piece of my brain that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker, it takes that piece of my brain and transplants it into your head. It's a 5-week coaching program where I teach you everything about my freight broker sales systems, strategies, tactics, and tools. Okay. It's a hybrid program with an online course and a coaching program that's built into it for 5 weeks. And that's going to be launching very soon. It's not a free program. It's not a cheap program, but it's worth 10 times whatever I charge for it. Okay. And if the only way you can enroll in that program or even get notified when that program launches in the next few weeks is to get on the wait list. So you need to go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/wait list. It's free to get on the wait list. You will immediately get notified as soon as I open up enrollment. And the reason why that's important is because last time I limited the number of people that could join the course to 100 people. Well, that sold out in just a few days. Okay. So we had 100 people join the program in just a few days. So if you don't get notified, okay, if you don't sign up on the wait list, there's no chance you're going to get an opportunity to be a part of the program. Okay. And I have people come back to me every single time, a day later, a week later, a month later, saying, hey, can I join the program? And I can't, because again, it's a closed program. Once I have everybody in that program, I fill the seats, I close the doors, you can't enroll. And then you got to wait till the next time. And that might be 4 months or 5 months or 6 months down the road, depending upon how busy I am. Okay. If I ever do it again, I may change course and decide not to do it. We've had hundreds of people go through that program. Hundreds. I mean, I don't know what it is at this point, probably 300, 400, 500 people that have went through that program. And the average rating from 1 to 10, 1 meaning it sucked, Dennis, 10 meaning it was amazing. The average rating is a 9.5 plus out of 10. So I think you get my point. All right. So get on the wait list if you have questions about freight broker sales or getting customers or doing any of that. Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps. Let's go to the next question. Yeah. Brett Taylor asks, I'm looking for hire a freight broker coach. If you're unavailable, coach, may you provide any recommendations? Okay. So this Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is a coaching program, but I am not taking on one-on-one coaching and or consulting clients. I just don't have the time. Okay. So I put together this Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, which is a 5-week group coaching program, okay, which is way better than one-on-one coaching because you get to learn from the experience of everybody else and the questions and struggles and issues that they have, right? And you get the advantage of all of that. I much prefer a group program if as a way to learn and implement something new into your business. So the best I can do right now is to offer that type of a sales accelerator group program. Again, you can get on the wait list going to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. And as far as recommending you to freight broker coaches, I'm sorry to say this, but there is nobody in the industry that I know that I would personally recommend to you as a coach. I just don't know that person. There are some people out there peddling their wares, and there's some people out there that are, have never really made money as a freight broker, but are selling training programs. I'm sorry, I can't help you there. The best I can do is direct you to that wait list. Okay. So I hope that helps. Okay, so question from Papa Bear in a chair. Recently got on with SPI as a sub-agent, 60/40. Congrats. Working on quoting my first shipper today that moves overweight, overdimensional freight. Do you have any resources for learning to quote this type of freight? Currently, overweight, overdimensional is a very nuanced niche, okay? And so quoting that can be a lot more complicated. I am planning on putting some additional resources towards that this year that would go into the training, but currently we do not have anything significant. Now, I will tell you that the quoting process is relatively the same as van freight or flatbed freight. Now, the language is a little bit different, but the reality is the only way you as a broker are going to be able to quote overdimensional or overweight loads is to actually develop relationships with carriers that can move those loads and can give you a quote that you can then mark up and give to your shippers. Because you got to understand, a lot goes into that. You might have permits, right? You might have escorts. You've got, you may have to route the load a completely different way than normal. So it might add miles. You have very specific requirements based on overweight and overdimensional freight. So it's very hard as a freight broker to quote that unless you were already a driver or a carrier that's used to quoting that stuff from the asset-based side. That way you might be able to do it. But as a broker, the best way for you to quote any type of load when you're first starting out is to contact a carrier that is already servicing that niche and is interested in that type of freight, and then work with them to get a quote based on the specifics of that quote. And then from there, you can add your markup on that. And just so, overweight, overdimensional type loads, they might be $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 for one load, depending upon the load itself and the level of complexity that goes into it. Okay. So there's a lot that goes into it. So I hope that helps. But right now I don't have a very specific resource about that. Inside Freight Broker Bootcamp, we do teach obviously how to quote and how to do that, but probably the most complicated and nuanced form of quoting has to do with overweight and overdimensional freight. So I hope that helps. Okay, so Hunter asks, what type of chargeback policy can a broker have? Well, a broker can have any chargeback policy they want. What I see in most cases is, for a chargeback policy, is if a broker advances you commissions on the load that you move for your shipper, meaning they had not got paid by the shipper yet. If they advanced you $100 in commission because you moved a load, and then it turns out that shipper is not going to pay that invoice for whatever reason, in most cases, they will just charge back the invoice that they charged you. Now, there may be, depending upon the company, they may try to charge. What you want to be careful of is, are they going to try to charge back the entire amount of the load, right? Are they going to try to charge back the entire amount of the load that the shipper did not pay? So if it was a $2,000 invoice, but you only made $100 off of it because there was only 200 in profit and you're at 50% commission, you want to understand, are they going to charge back the whole invoice, or are they only going to charge back the commission that they advance? So those are what I see in most cases, but there's a big difference there. Okay. Good question. Trevor Blair asked, did you find success advertising your services at construction conventions to find lumber shippers and concrete paver shippers? Looking forward to your accelerator program. Okay. So if you're talking about like trade shows, right? And conventions, I think that those types of events can be very powerful for networking. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go put a booth up. I wouldn't go do advertising, but I would go to an event where I knew my shipping niche was going to, whether they were buying or selling at that event. And I would go there and network and develop relationships with those people that are in my niche. Now, it's a lot of work, and networking isn't for everybody. Here's what you can't do. You can't go to the event, stand in the corner, and hope that somebody's going to come up to you while you're twiddling your thumbs and going to want to network with you. You've got to be a little bit more extroverted. You've got to go out. You've got to starting conversations. You got to press the flesh. You got to ask interesting questions. You've got to be fun and interesting and more extroverted in that type of an environment. So it's not for everybody, but you will come home with a stack of business cards of people that you've had conversations with that you can then follow up with via email or phone. So it can be a valuable source of leads and prospects and customers when done right. So I hope that helps. Awesome. For everybody who's on the wait list, you're smart. It's the only thing I can say to you. Thank you for the kind words, everybody. I truly appreciate it. All right. Okay, so here's a question. I have been working as a dispatcher for 3 years only with a flatbed trucks. I know a lot about this, and I'm afraid to become a freight broker because my speaking is not extended. Do you recommend me start as an agent? Do you think it will not be a hard problem for me to start as a freight broker? Okay. So what you're saying is you don't have perfect English, and you're concerned about that being an issue for you as a freight broker. Okay. Is it better if you don't speak perfect English to become a freight broker or a freight agent? Here's what I'm going to tell you. There really won't be any difference whether you're a freight broker or a freight agent. I can tell you that we've had a lot of people that have went through their program that don't speak perfect English. The one that comes off top of mind is Yogi Goswami. He does speak really good English, but he's from India. He's never been to the United States. We've had other people that are Spanish speaking. We've had other people that are Eastern European, and we've had people from all over the world take this program. The language, if you can speak basic English and you can communicate that way, it should not be an issue. Now, you can make it an issue in your head, which is what you're doing right now. You're trying to create this scenario thinking that it's going to hurt you. That's not going to be the difference as to whether you're successful or not. What's going to make the difference of whether you're successful or not is the value that you can bring to any prospect or shipper. If you understand the process of how to move freight from point A to point B, and you can build trust and build rapport with prospects over the phone or face-to-face or via email, you're going to have opportunities to grow a business. Of course, you should try to work on your English because communications is an important part of the process. So I would focus on that. But here, I don't think you can go wrong either way. But here's my suggestion to you, because I'm thinking out loud. If you're concerned about your ability to build a successful freight brokerage, and you don't want to take the risk in capital because you got to get a freight broker bond, you got to get your authority, all that, start as a freight agent. Because I tell everybody this until I'm blue in the face. If you can't make money as a freight agent, you're not going to make money as a freight broker, because the freight agent business is way easier than the freight broker business, right? The freight agent business, you find customers, you move loads, you deliver those loads, end of story. As a broker, you've got to provide technology, you got to provide support, you got to provide all the financial management, and you've got all of those other things that you have to do in order to build and grow a successful business. So my suggestion to you is, if you're concerned, start as a freight agent. Once you get some customers and you start feeling comfortable and you've got a little bit of profit coming in, you could always start and get your freight broker authority then. So I hope that helps. Okay, so what operating costs are the agents usually responsible for? Well, it varies from company to company, but it's not unusual for brokers to charge for a TMS because maybe they're being charged for a TMS, right? So if they're working with a Send TMS, right, which is one of our partners, then, and they're getting charged for that, well, then they're probably going to want to pass that through to you. If you want the DAT load board, you're probably going to have to pay for whatever load boards you want. But beyond that, typically I see, all I really see is TMS software and load board software. Those are what most agents are going to be responsible for. Most brokers are not going to pay that out of their pocket, right? They're not going to consume that cost, right? That's a business cost that an agent needs to be prepared to have. So if it's your load boards, if it's your transportation management software, beyond that, there's usually not a lot of cost associated with being an agent other than just basic internet, having a phone, and then access to the software. So I hope that helps. Okay, so Mark Carruthers asks, how did you recruit good quality agents? Okay, so I recruited good quality agents the same way as I recruited good quality customers. Okay, I identified who I wanted. I made a list of those people that I knew I wanted. And then I did outreach, whether that be through phone, whether that be through email, but predominantly I used LinkedIn as one of the primary sources to find, connect, and engage with experienced agents. Because at my brokerage, Logistic Dynamics, we only hired experienced agents. You had to have a book of business, and it's still that way today, to the best of my knowledge. Again, I sold the business 4 or 5 years ago, but ultimately, that was what our primary source was. And that is part of what I include in the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, which is that whole LinkedIn component, my no cold calling for freight broker system, which is exactly what you're asking for. So again, all roads lead back to the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Again, I think from there, beyond getting on the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, if you're looking to recruit and hire experienced agents, you have to build a good product. You have to build a good product. That's the reason why it's good for you to be here for that 17 questions, because those are questions that agents should be asking. And if you don't have a good answer for those questions, then you don't have a good product. And if you don't have a good product, then you can't expect to get good agents. That's just the way it is. Why would a successful freight agent that's making 6 figures or more transition to your company? Why would they do that other than possibly a small increase in commission bump, right? Because that's where all new brokers go. They're like, oh, I'll pay you a little bit more commission. That's not enough. You need to provide better technology. You need to provide better support. You need to provide training, provide leads. You need to fill in the gaps on those 17. You have to have really good credit. You need to you need to build a better culture. There's a lot of things. You need to think of those 17 questions and reverse engineer your business to provide good answers and good solutions to those 17 questions. And that's how you'll build a successful freight agent, a freight brokerage using an agent model. So I hope that helps. Good question though. Thank you, Sarah, for the kind words. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so here's a good question from Ozan. How important is it how you look? Is it important? Is it an important thing you look beautiful, handsome on your website, social accounts, and promoting channels? Does it affect how you impress shippers and carriers? Okay. So I'm going to give you two answers to this. Number one, if you do not have any presence as a website or any presence on social, it's better to have some presence, even if it's not perfect, than no presence. So that's step number one. Get a website, get on LinkedIn in particular. If you get a website and LinkedIn, those are the two things that I would highly recommend. Okay. Now, beyond that, as far as having high quality images and high quality design and high quality content and making a good first impression, it does matter. Okay. It matters a lot. So let's say, for example, if I went to your website and I saw a great picture of you working at your desk, talking to your team, or something in a work environment that made sense. It was a very clean, high quality image. That's scenario one. Scenario two is there's a picture on there with you standing by your girlfriend next to your car, and you cropped out part of it, but part of it's still there, and it looks like this janky, half-assed photo. You tell me which one's going to make a better impression. I mean, it's glaringly obvious, right? The good quality image. So my answer to you is this: if you have no website, if you have no LinkedIn profile, just get started with what you have. But as you go on, you want to upgrade the quality of the images and the content on any of your social profiles and on any of your websites. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a photographer. Okay. You have the most powerful photographic tool in the world right here on your cell phone. You can take amazing pictures and amazing video from your cell phone. Or maybe you have friends who have a DSLR camera, a higher quality camera that can take pictures for you or of you, or any number of things where you can get good quality imagery and content for your website. So I hope that helps answer your question. But it is a good question. Interesting. No one's ever asked that before. Okay, so here's a question from Alana Bowser. What's an ideal percentage a broker should take for every load? Is it typically 75-25? No, it's not typically 75-25. Most agent programs pay agents, most brokers pay agents somewhere between 50 and 70% of the profit. If they have little or no experience, they start out at 50. As they get more experience and build a bigger book, they move up to 55 or 60 or 65 or 70. So in most cases, it's somewhere between 50 and 70% to the agent. The broker would keep the difference. I spoke about that a little bit earlier in the training, but I hope that helps. Yes, you can download the 17 questions. Absolutely. All you got to do is go to this URL. Okay, go to that URL, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions, and you're going to see a Google Doc, and you can click on file and download that. You can print that. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, go to that freightbrokerbootcamp.com/17 questions. It's going to ask you to opt in. You're going to get an email. That email is going to have a link where you can download those 17 questions and take them with you, study them, use them for whatever purposes you want. If you're a freight broker looking to develop a freight agent program, those are great questions to base your program on. If you're an agent looking to vet new brokers, then that's obviously what it was designed for. So I think having good questions like that is only going to help you to make a more informed and educated decision. Good questions, guys. Very engaged today. I love it. Yash Lara asks, I've been struggling to acquire my first customers for my brokerage. Any recommendations? I'm going to give you two recommendations. Number one, be different. Don't sound like every other broker out there. Don't download some garbage script off the internet and think that that's going to get you customers. Okay. Be different. Different is better than better. Don't call up and beg for loads. Don't call up and beg for quotes. Don't call up and make it all about you. Be different. That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice I've mentioned numerous times on this live. And my second piece of advice is get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. This is by far the best training program I have ever put together in my life. I'm 52 years old. I started as an entrepreneur at 24 years old. Okay. So I've got almost 30 years of experience as an entrepreneur. I have trained hundreds, thousands of people around the world. And this is the best program I've ever put together, bar none. It's a 5-week coaching program along with an online course that you get lifetime access to, where I walk you through the entire process from A to Z. And I help you implement it in your business one-on-one. So you come into a group call, and any questions or issues you're having, I bring you up on the stage and we talk, you and I, face to face, and we work through that issue. Okay. For 5 weeks in a row. I can't make it any easier or better than that. Okay. So if you're struggling to get customers, the first piece of advice is be different and stop sounding like everybody else. The second piece of advice is get enrolled in the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. It'll be the best investment you ever made. Get on the wait list first, because that's what you need to do. So, hey, listen, thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate it. Make sure you come back Monday live for the next training. If you enjoyed this training and you want me to come back every week and do these live trainings for free, hit the like button and then share the stream. Do me that favor right now. That's all I ask of you right now before we close out. Make sure you hit the like button. Smash the like button right now. If you don't do it, I'm going to be mad. Secondly, share the stream. If you're on YouTube, click share and share it via WhatsApp, or share it on Pinterest, or copy the link and send a text to 3 friends. If you're on Facebook, just click the share button and share it with your feed, share it with your network. Let people know about the Freight Broker Bootcamp. Let the people know about these Freight Broker trainings. Let people know about Freight Broker Bootcamp. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. If you're curious about becoming a Freight Broker freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, been in business a decade. I've personally done over $200 million as a freight broker, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money back guarantee. I can't make it any easier than that. Go to Freight Broker Bootcamp, and we'll see you next Monday live with another live training. Have an awesome day, guys. And we'll